Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you have had a fantastic day today. Let's get back at it. We had just finished taking care of the dragon and the golden demons, whatever it is that they're called. Hey, everybody can level up. We're going to take care of that later. Um, we can't recruit yet, right? So we'll head back. Why did it stop there? Whoa. Scout out. Oh, attack out of nowhere. Okay, cool. That's been finished. And Citadel. Darren. And I have no idea what you're saying. 1, 2, 3. 1. No idea what just happened. Hopefully that's one of the things that'll be fixing the update. Ooh, he comes to see me directly. Okay. Zacharias glares at you coldly. So far, you're managing the crusade better than Galfrey. However, you're my student now, and therefore you need special advice coming from me. I have news for you, student. As rumors of a Death Lord and Mendev begin to spread, exiles from the far corners of Aveston started to trickle in, those who kept practicing the art of death despite interdictions. Most of them are filth and wretches, but some appear useful and capable. What are you going to do about them? Will you give them patronage? Will you drive the rabble away after collecting the heads of the most unfortunate ones? Have you decided to serve the Crusade as my advisor, Zacharias? You need a mentor, don't you? I intend to see your transformation into a Lich through until the end. It is my only way to freedom, so you need to survive this war and come out on top. What consequences will my decision have? However vile they are, they may come in handy. More necromancers at our side means more obedient undead under our command. Besides, these exiles know how to survive. Their spells and rituals may surprise us yet. Alternatively, you can banish them and proclaim the dark arts to be the privileged domain of your chosen servants, the most talented and loyal of all. This act can inspire the rest to deepen their knowledge. After all, a single ambitious necromancer is more devastating on the battlefield than a dozen dabblers. They should crawl back to their holes. Necromancy can only be practiced by conscripted magicians. We are not turning the crusade into a gaggle of misfits and freaks. We won't turn anyone away. All the adepts of magic will enjoy my protection. Execute these vagabonds and put their heads on pikes. The decision will not do any good or harm. Mechanic not ready. Mechanic not ready. Okay. Come one, come all. If you are practitioners of the undead, you're a friend of mine. Why not? Very well. We'll see what this rabble is capable of. They have to repay mercy with servitude and share all secrets they know if they are counting on your patronage. We are done here, student. I leave you now, but expect my return in the future. Fascinating. So does that mean the tower is built? Is it? If he's here. Hey, my champion's dead. Do I have to use one of those scroll thingies to bring her back? That wouldn't make sense. Why would a cleric be able to do what I cannot? No, he needs 12 more days before the ziggurat is done. Found a fort in the specified place. Price 4,000 finance points. I do not have enough finance points to do that. 3,000 finance points. Sure. Oh, whoops. I've got rank ups available. All right. I need to go ahead and take care of those. Next opportunity. Okay. Doom, doom. Doom, doom, doom. Doom. All right. So if you're dead,
I stand ready.
do I have a way? I don't have a way to raise my undead. Oh, that's right. I can charge negative energy to heal my undead, right? And that should not affect my living allies. Okay. Do that next time. Maybe she'll automatically come back when I sleep. We'll see. Mm, level 10. Interesting. +2 bonus. Yeah, I already had that. All right, so we got nothing special from level 10. All right, and that wouldn't change at all. All right. So be it. 9. She already has the level 5 spells that she needs. I guess I can give her Fire Snake. Why not? She does not want abjuration spells. None of that works for her, really. She already has all of those. Yeah. She doesn't have greater magic weapons. She could take that. Scroll Mastery. At 10th level, a Scroll Savant can use his own caster level instead of the item's caster level when using a scroll. Interesting. Alright. And, oh wait. Spellbook. Yeah, we'll give some more web. And Phantasmal Killer. Lots and lots of haste. There we go. Yep, that's right to me. We don't use Sela anymore, so don't need to build that up. And this is level 4. Control Fireball. He definitely uses that. Might as well give him protection from energy. Advanced talents. Rogue can use one. Oh yeah, the advanced rogue talents. That makes sense. Spellbook. She shouldn't need a slot of that. We could take off haste now because Nanio should be using haste. Okay. Looks good to me. Actually, no. Now that we've looked deeper into it, Scorching Ray makes a lot more sense for him. That makes sense. That's the best we could do right now. Darren. You automatically should get the healing power. Inflict light wounds light. No. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. +1 sacred bonus. guess. Yeah, I guess it's probably a good spell to have. Improved uncanny dodge. That's interesting. I don't have to select his spells, right? Yeah, and he does get cure light wounds, so cool. Let's go one duel. 9/9 stealth, perception. She gets more evasion, cool. Why keep making me go to character? Let me just select spell book. Hey, another one of those. Which one do I like more? Actually, I really like Acid Maw, but it's only 1d4. That doesn't make much sense. Aspect of the Falcon. Both of these are 1 minute per level, right? We'll go with Aspect of the Falcon. And whose pet is this? It's just called Smilodon. I don't remember if this pet is associated with. Could give you dodge, could give you weapon focus. Not that. Power. Do you get power attack? You know what? I want power attack on you. All right. Camellia. Last one, y'all. Sorry. I know this is taking a while. Call lightning. Definitely like that. And actually, I want Magic Fang Greater. Oh, wait. I don't think... Has anybody else had Delay Poison? I think Darren has Delay Poison. So, yeah, Magic Fang Greater. And then lower level 1. Anything on here we're really excited about? No, not particularly. So, yeah, anything would do. Whatever. That would do Delay Poison. Okay. Now let's go. Oh, wait. I have to put it in a spell book. Spell book. Excellent. Okay. Didn't even need that. Cool. Rest. All right. So, yeah, that's weird, right? That you have to use a cleric to bring back a Lich's undead minion. Something seems a little backwards about that, but whatever. It is what it is. Anything new here? Okay. Nope. Regions still listed as 1. Okay. All right. Let's sell some things, talk to Greybor, and then get back out there. Oh, and also let's make sure to stop by the clearing. In fact, we'll go there first, just to make sure I don't forget. Temple. All right. Prepare. Scroll of Raised Dead is 6,000. Isn't that nice? Plus this, +1. I don't need that. +1 daggers. Does he? I don't think he needs it, but I'm gonna keep this around just in case. Ooh, that's nice. that. Okay. Wiped out what I did. Great. Sell that. This amulet is really nice, but I'm not messing with it this time. +4 trickery skills. Okay, that's perfect for Woljif. All right. Off that. Oh, but can you use it? That's an excellent question. Usable. Oh, great. What does it look like? It's the hand coming out, right? Oh, cool. I already have one. Upon completion of the spell, the creature is immune with no loss of repair skill. All right.
Access. Yes.
Well, isn't that nice? Okay. So you're back now. Excellent. All right, now, champion, you still do not have particularly good equipment. And I have none to give to you at this time. Oh, wait, I could give you this glaive. All right, I'm not used to Soseo, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Yeah, this does way more damage than what you have, so we'll start with that. And then Woljif, what do you have? This is +2, this is +1. Interesting. Okay. Excellent. Okay, now. Just curious as Zacharias. Okay, so Zacharias is not hanging around here anywhere. Woljif wanted to speak to me, but he's still going to want to speak to me after we've dealt with his quest, so we'll hold off on that for now. Oh, we should talk with the Storyteller. Let's do that. Oh, yeah. You know what? That reminds me. I wanted to look over this power again and make sure I understood it. This absolutely blew that dragon up. When used against an enemy, this spell deals 4d8, so 32 at max, plus caster level, which is 6, so 38 to living targets. Interesting. Okay. Hey, I appreciate it. It did the job. All right. The blind elf whispers something under his breath. Hearing your steps, he turns to you slowly. Greetings, Samori Sykes. Have you brought me a new story? I want to discuss our encounter in the dragon's lair. I'm sure you do. You're wondering how I ended up there and why I wasn't killed. Am I right? Why did you go to the tower? I've been looking for a certain tower for several years now, and in that place I had a strange feeling of recognition. It seems that tower once belonged to me a long time ago. Knowing my habits, I assumed that some records or other items that can answer the questions about my past may have remained in my home. Unfortunately, I realized too late that the tower was now the lair of a monster. If you're able to sneak up to that tower, there's actually a pretty humorous interaction between him and the dragon that you can overhear. How come the dragon didn't eat you? Despite their beastly tempers, dragons are clever creatures, but their way of life does not lend itself to civilized conversation, which is why they do sometimes enjoy a good chat, and even more, a good story. That was what saved me. I had to share a few of my stories with the dragon, hoping to win her over, or at least distract her. Did you find anything of value in the tower? The storyteller nods politely. Yes. Thanks to you, the dragon didn't have time to burn everything. I found the memories of my previous life, which I had forgotten long ago. Now everything is clear. Once again, please accept my gratitude for the miraculous rescue. I hope I never again have cause to meet a creature as voracious as that dragon. I found a page that might interest you. The storyteller carefully takes your find. Yes, you are right. Another piece of evidence from the past I have forgotten. The old elf's expression becomes withdrawn. The storyteller cringes the page you brought. His voice becomes a bit younger and more energetic. My hand touches the stone wall. The cold pierces my palm like the teeth of a hungry dog sinking into a piece of meat. I don't take my hand away. I let the stone enjoy my warmth in return for its service. It accepts my caress and my unasked question, the one it's been asked thousands upon thousands of times. Where should I go next? Behind me, I hear the loud stomping of the minotaurs that guard this God's forsaken place. I tricked and outwitted them, leaving only a trace of my presence. There's darkness lurking up ahead, honing its swords, claws, and teeth in the hope that a rare traveler visits its lair. But today it will get no one. The labyrinth is alive. Its red-veined stone walls resemble the guts of a huge creature. If you keep still and listen closely, you can hear breathing in the wind that sweeps through this place. Where do I go from here? Forward, to the place whence the wind carried a faint chuckle, whence comes the faint smell of ash, whence a few ages ago, demon Lord Baphomet began his great escape. Baphomet, are you inside his labyrinth? Yes, I'm traveling through the ivory labyrinth. This is not the most pleasant of my journeys, but it is necessary to reach my goal. How are you able to evade all the dangers of the ivory labyrinth? The storyteller raises his chin proudly. Have you forgotten who you are speaking to? I am the last archmage of Kyonin. I have been to many dangerous places, and this is just one of the many. It won't be the last. What do you need from the ivory labyrinth? An answer to a question, a key to a secret, knowledge that can save many lives. A sliver of a smile appears on the storyteller's lips. My kinfolk were weakling and cowards. They ran from danger, but one stood up to my enemy, and Baphomet will give me the weapon to win. Please continue. For several years, I have thought about how to defeat Earthfall. My enemy has no flesh and is impossible to kill. It blazes through everything in its path. It doesn't enslave, but destroys life itself. And I have found the answer. I know how to save the world. Earthfall came to destroy Golarion. Its strike was brutal, and my world barely withstood it. But what if Earthfall was resisted by not one world, but several worlds at once? What if Heaven or Elysium came to help the dying Golarion? If I managed to merge my world with another one, meld them together, the power of the disaster will weaken. The denizens of Golarion will be able to temporarily take shelter in the adjacent plane. Civilizations will not die. Our culture will continue to exist. We will not be forgotten. Baphomet, the cunning and insidious lord of Minotaurs, was once a captive in Asmodeus' prison. But only 10 years passed before Baphomet was able to escape, taking his own prison with him, which later became the Ivory Labyrinth. Such an achievement deserves respect, and it is the goal of my research. Moving matter between planes is what interests me now. I stop near strange symbols covering the wall of the labyrinth. I run my hand over them to ensure they are real, encrypted riddles drawn by Baphomet during his imprisonment. I take out the bark-covered notebook and painstakingly copy the symbols into it. Behind me, 2 minotaurs are fighting, deceived by the net of spells I have wrapped around myself like a blanket. Do you want to connect the planes? That's dangerous. The elf is silent for a moment. When he talks, there is disdain in his voice. Dangerous, difficult, almost impossible. But tell me, is this risk not worth the Thassalan Empire perishing before my eyes? Does this Gaul Gond, the Cyclops' kingdom, deserve death? What about the Aboleth Empire? The storyteller moves his lips silently. Another plane will pay for saving Galarian. There will be wars, and then a new world will come. But we will survive. We will defeat Earthfall, and history will not condemn the victors. A bark-covered notebook, the one your mentor gave you? The storyteller lowers his head, but a moment later jerks it back up. Yes. Blinded by my pride, I tore it to pieces when I thought I would not follow my kinfolk. I'm still not going to run, but the knowledge written in this notebook by my former mentor might serve my purpose. The elves managed to open a portal to Savorian and keep it open until all our people escaped from Galarian. Their cowardice deserves disdain, but their knowledge is unquestionable. I returned to Kyonin and gathered the pieces of my torn notebook. Now it is my sword aimed at the heart of Earthfall. By combining the wisdom of elves and the cunning of Baphomet, I will save the world. What happened next? I copied the strange symbols into the notebook. I haven't the slightest idea what these scribbles mean. What was the future demon lord thinking when he wrote them while he was imprisoned in a cell with no way out? Was he still in his right mind? I will need help to understand these notes. Otherwise, decrypting them might take more time than Pharasma has given me. One of the mentors behind me killed the other one, tore his heart out, and devoured it. His blood-stained nose sniffs the air sharply. His bloodshot eye shifts from wall to wall. He senses a stranger, but he doesn't scare me. I am certain of my powers and the spells hiding me. I've done my work and can now leave this place, and still I linger. What is this strange presence I feel behind me? Like someone is watching me, despite all the protective spells. Who are you? I ask carefully, not hoping for an answer. Darkness. A coy female voice whispers in my ear. Against my will, I shudder. The storyteller stops talking for a long while. The vision ended at a most interesting moment, didn't it? He says bitterly at last. Please, find the rest of the pages from this bark-covered book. I must know what happened next. Tell me about your journey to the Ivory Labyrinth. My hand touches the stone wall. The cold pierces my palm like the teeth of a hungry dog sinking into a piece of meat. We already went through this. Okay. Examine the items I'm carrying. Anything new? A fragment of the ring appears in the palm of the old man's hand. What a powerful item. This ring was created by an inquisitive and free mind. As a rule, such people either become geniuses and creators of a new era or end their lives tragically. What was the fate of the creator of this thing? We can find out together. Give me 4 vials of magical essence and 2 bars of cold iron, and I will reforge this ring. The old elf gently touches the crumpled metal of the gauntlets. I feel the souls of the 2 who were bound to this relic. One was an animal, the other a man, but neither was the master of the other. They were brothers. What an interesting and mysterious story. Do you want to hear it? If you get me 1 vial of magical essence, 4 bars of cold iron, and 2 vials of demon blood, I can revive this relic and see into its past. The elf looks at you with unusual impatience. Shall we? I do not have the necessary materials, but I will return with it. Okay. Remember Sosale. Have to wait until evening time to talk with Sosale. So we will talk with Greybor.
Without a doubt.
Greybor nods to you politely. As always, wisps of smoke rise from his pipe. Can I help you, Commander? I want to know more about you. I know what you're asking. How did someone like me end up in these lands? A warrior without kith or kin, or godly blessing or crusader's mantle. Many have asked the same thing. Tell me about your past. I was born in Daggermark, the city of thieves, murderers, and poisoners. I soldiered for a while, served in the infantry under Jalar Clovish. Didn't take long to realize there's two types of Daggermark soldiers. There's the dumb thugs who need to be bossed around, and then there's the adventurous lads who use the title to do murder and extortion for hire. You can guess which ones I fell in love with. I knew the rules of the game, and the wealthy often called on me to solve their problems or get a leg up on their competition. Then I got into a quarrel with an officer, and I left the service and became an independent contractor. It turns out, outside Daggermark, there's a lot fewer specialists who fit my profile. A proper assassin can get paid pretty well. The job took me all over Aveston before I came here. Chaotic. Good for you for leaving the army. Soldiers are the same as assassins, only they work for the politicians and they don't get paid. Very true. And in Daggermark, they don't make much effort to hide it. Do you have a family? My people don't brook trade with assassins. The family I'm from are honest merchants and loyal worshippers of Torag. By now they must think I'm dead. They'd be appalled if they found out how things really stood. The dwarf grows grim and his strong teeth clench his pipe until it cracks. As for my other family, I got one of those too. On my travels I met a woman, fair and kind. For her I laid down my weapons, got a house, became a simple city dweller. We had a daughter. We lived like that for a year and a half before the road called me back. I loved her, but that life, it was like I was being buried alive. I was ready to kill myself just to end the torturous, meaningless. Only the road could cure me of these thoughts, but for some reason I kept going back to that house I once lived in, to the woman I once loved, to the daughter I don't even really know and who doesn't know me. I watch from afar. I don't have the right to return to their lives. Mora, my daughter, I don't know what she is to me, the biggest mistake of my life or the greatest mark I'll leave on the world. Chaotic, but she could have gone traveling with you, couldn't she? Greybor frowns and nods to you. Yes, but I'm not made for family life, nor she for life on the road. Does that mean I'm the villain? What brought you to the War Wound? The dwarf shrugs. There's a lot of good jobs here, not many competitors. A lot of dangerous demons, and every one of them is gobbled up someone's son, wife, or best friend. And who do they come to for vengeance? To the Crusaders? They're bound up by their orders, and they lack the necessary skills. The people who hire me don't want to wait until the crusade ends, if it ever will. That's why I come in, ready to deliver targeted vengeance today, for a generous fee. What gods do you honor? It's my family's way to worship Torag, but he's not my god. If you don't know, Torag, also known as Father of Creation, is a stoic and serious dwarven god of the forge, protection, and strategy who values honor, planning, and well-made steel. He is an often distant deity, lending magical power to his clerics, but leaving his followers to make their own way through life, knowing that this will make them strong and determined. Many craftsmen venerate Torag, and I consider my work a craft. But Torag's priests also say that he abhors murder. Either way, I name another god as my patron, Norgorber, the god of dark and unlawful actions. He and I, we have an understanding. What's your opinion on the crusade? I'd lie if I said I see much difference between me and the Crusaders. Times now aren't like they were during the First Crusade. Nowadays, the ranks of the Crusaders are filled with fugitives, opportunists, exiled nobles, fortune hunters, and lads who just plain love carnage. And all of them should thank the gods that the War Wound is still open. Otherwise, they'd be busy with robbery and murder. And when they met me in the street, they'd be wearing noble scowls, but taking off their hats and addressing me as sir. You're right. Sometimes I wonder how those fools still haven't figured it out. The dwarf nods, satisfied. It's a good thing they have it. You're a commander and they're your soldiers. And that's all because they're not in the habit of thinking too much. You satisfied my curiosity. You know, you're the first among my clients to ask such questions. Tell me about your craft. Like any master of this craft, I could talk for hours about the subtleties of my trade and my finest works. Or would you prefer to test me yourself? What's the most important thing in an assassin's work? Greybor chuckles. The first rule of an assassin? Bring the head back with you. Seriously though, tactics and equipment are what matters. The winner isn't the strongest, but the one who strikes first, so long as that's also last. When I get a job, I don't rush into things. Let the victim know they're being hunted. Let them reinforce their guards, trust no one, and fall into paranoia. And only when the victim is exhausted at the end of their tether do I come in to wish them good night. It might sound funny, but believe me, no one's laughing in that room. Are you haunted by remorse? Not at all. I've met a lot of good people, but many of them had a generous price on their heads. Everyone is a thorn in someone else's side. For some reason, folks imagine the good lads have fair fight to ruin the lives of the bad ones, and not the other way around. But it's only the morals of the majority that determines what's good and who's a villain, and those morals shift every day. I've been in many different places, talked to many different people, and the morals were different everywhere. Your words are true. Self-reproach is for cowards and weaklings. Some people just have to die, and the sooner the better. I'm sure you've killed a lot more scumbags than good people. I'll take that option. Killing good people doesn't tend to pay very well. It's the dangerous, twisted, bloody sons of bitches who fetch the highest bounty. That's why they're my specialty. You must value your reputation a good deal. Greybor nods with dignity. Of course. In my line of work, reputation is everything. It keeps away the random fools who are looking for a fight, and the right people know I can be trusted. Anyone who has no care for their reputation is no better than a frog-eating kobold. There's no doing business with those hacks. The best you could do is use them for a job and then kill them afterwards. Whereas I, as a professional with a name, demand respect from the client. Tell me about your best murder. The most difficult one was a professor at the Clockwork Cathedral in Absalom. The very existence of this wizard mechanic was a secret, and almost nobody knew his face or his name. Hunting him down was a symphony of violence and hard tactics. I had to sneak through his secret underground palace that looked like a wind-up dollhouse put together by a psychopath. No rational mind could have invented such intricate traps, and there were mechanical cutlass spiders everywhere that nearly took 2 fingers and an ear. The professor was a dangerous bloke. Day and night he wore a deadly mechanism as a sort of armor, which made him look like an 8-legged, steam-spewing winged monster. But I came prepared. A tomb raider from Osirian had taught me how to avoid the traps. And I opened up his armored suit with a lick-toed goblin sword. It's not even a sword, more like a giant can opener. They used them to pull fallen knights from the armor to devour later. But I digress. I tore open his armor and saw his true form. Don't ask me what it was. I'll just say it was very unexpected. The mechanic went berserk and attacked me with incredible force. He was too much for me and I had to flee. The fool thought he'd won until he realized I'd reassembled all his traps into a giant death machine. 2 minutes after I escaped, his palace turned into a cloud of dust. Without his immaculate armor, my mark was sent on his merry way to, well, I suppose it's on a plane for broken golems and music boxes. Do you worship any other gods? Of course I do. Norgorber Blackfingers is my patron. Unlike many of the other gods, he himself was once mortal, which makes him honest. His teachings are built upon the grim truths of the streets that raised me. Norgorber will not try to fool you. He will never demand that you achieve perfection. After all, everyone knows that he is not perfect himself. Countless psychopaths and other scum worship him too. Butchers who've conducted mass murders call him Father Skinsaw. Boneheaded street vermin thank the Grey Master for a bunch of coins they've managed to wrest away from a passerby. And, of course, the most despicable of them all, those who praise Norgorber as the reaper of reputations, those disgusting rotten rats, politicians. I have no more questions. If you have any more, come to me. I have some experience and I'm willing to share. What do you think of your new powers? dwarf glances at his hands. They're strong and firm and abnormally lean for his race. A nice bonus. My career is in for an upturn. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll pull off a truly mythical job, a deity or a demon lord or something of that sort. Do you like working for me? After some thought, the dwarf offers you a slight smile. Yes, I like you, Commander. You don't keep me from doing what I do. You don't try to preach at me, and you act with precision and competence. I respect that. I want to know more about your last client. He decided to remain anonymous, but I suspect his name is Willowdust. I'd already struck off a few lesser demons for him, and later in Kennebrus a stronger one. And then the battle for Drezen, the client insisted I kill the demon with a dagger he gave me and tell the wretch that Willowdust said hello. According to my client, one stab would be enough. But it turned out differently. The demon survived, a stain on my reputation. I don't know why he got it wrong. Simple incompetence, or did he set me up to fail? Either way, I'd love to have another chat with this Willowdust. We can stop there. Greybor nods silently and focuses on lighting up a freshly packed pipe. All right. And I believe that's all we have to do before heading back out. So let's head back out. Okay, so first, let's circle back with the little creature. Now that we've dealt with the dragon, I'm not worried about Greybor all of a sudden picking up and leaving. So we can get to the things that I really want to do. Okay. Can I recruit yet? No problem. Here. No, not leper smile. We want to go to inconspicuous camp. And already, random encounter. Okay, so the Erebeth quest has been completed.
I'll tear your throat out.
Her. Always using magic missile. He can stop that. Excellent. Masterwork dagger. And real quick, now that I think about it. So that's correct. We should have this. We should have this. I'm just not finding the spell to be all that useful, but we're still going to keep it up there. We'll keep it up there. And okay. Excellent. Okay, her hotbar is good. Her hotbar is good. Your hotbar needs some work. We're not going to be using it large. We don't need to have enraged on there. What's this? Old animal might have his uses every so often. All with this. What's this? Bull strength. We don't have anybody on the team that uses strength. So we'll go there. What's this? Frigid touch. I'm probably not going to be using that very often. Still want those two. Okay, your hotbar is fine. Now you, what's this? Cure light wounds mass. Probably not going to be using that very often. So actually, we can go ahead and put this down there because you might use that every so often. Don't need that on my bar. I should probably have this on my bar somewhere. Prayers down there. Don't need that on my bar. We do have delay poison. Okay, that's what I thought. Oh, he's got Scorching Ray? I didn't realize that. Whoops. Well, if he's got Scorching Ray, yeah, I don't use that stuff all that much. So yeah, we'll use that. Okay. And this stuff down here, I don't use any of this very much either. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so he's good. Now you. That makes sense. Shouldn't need to be all the way back over here. Get this off. We don't need this stuff on. We know it's on, right? Bewildering enemy, yeah. Injury, yeah. That's fine. This should be up here. We're not going to be using invisibility anytime soon. 2, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yep, that works. And then finally you. This is level 5, this is level 2. We almost never use mirror image. We really don't use mage armor all that much now I think of it, but I'll still keep it around. That. We can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. We rarely use that. We'll probably very rarely use that, but we'll keep it around anyway. There we go. Alright. Any abilities that need to be, what's this? Right, she can make herself visible when she wants to. Eight. And you are the leopard. Therefore, you do not get access to power attack. Let's dodge then. Okay, much better. Now, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. She doesn't need to do actually, yeah. Call lightning. Blow people up.
Only you deserve my obedience.
Let us not hesitate.
And yeah, he's good with that too. Why does it keep turning off Holy Symbol of I Am a Day? I don't understand that. All right, there. Now, back to business. Leave that. We'll head over, talk to this guy, and then circle back over and... No, I'm not gonna rest. Sorry. Actually, we're gonna talk to this guy, then we're gonna go ahead to that church that's nearby,
I will guide us.
and then we'll do our Shell's quest. Crinukh's expression brightens as he notices you. What's your take on applied philosophy? Would you mind discussing an ethical dilemma with me? I grow quite tired of symposiums featuring only myself. Why not? Fine, then picture this. Imagine that there is a mortal, and you know that he is very, very wrong. For instance, he believes that people enjoy being gutted alive. Don't ask me how he came to this conclusion. He's just odd like that. But he is absolutely convinced that they love it. So, from time to time, he guts people just because, you know, he's really such a nice fellow. He doesn't do it because he likes it or wants to. He just loves doing good for others. So, this odd, obviously made up individual, is he a villain or a good lad? Does he deserve to be executed as a criminal or rewarded for his heart of gold? Are you implying something? Who, me? Of course not. He needs someone to explain to him that actually people don't like being gutted. He must be executed. First, I talk with him. Who knows? Maybe it's not he who was mistaken. Perhaps I just don't know something. Sure, why not? We'll go with that. The kobold giggles, obviously pleased. Right. What if it's not him being an idiot? What if people actually love getting gutted? And you're the only one who doesn't know that. And then, somewhere in polite society, you accidentally blurt out that people shouldn't be gutted, and they will forever brand you as a prudish and uncultured person. But you are right. If you encounter something incomprehensible, first, figure out what's going on, and only then act. It seems like a platitude, but most people learn this lesson only right before their deaths. The kobold stops talking, his thoughts wander, and then he sighs repentantly. You got me talking and I almost forgot something important. You'll want to see this. Crinukh shows you a pile of open letters. Judging by the handwriting and the paper quality, the correspondence was between several people, all of them more than prosperous. These notes were written by very foolish folks who decided that befriending demons is more beneficial than fighting them. This is just a fraction of their correspondence. They said in their manners in narrow cyan, preoccupied at every single day with one and only thought, how else they can hurt your crusade. They spread rumors about you. They try to block your army supply chains. They whisper nasty things about you into the queen's ear. But despite all their influence, they are just amateur conspirators who know nothing about real intrigue. I'll make sure that these letters fall into your associates' hands, anonymously, of course. I'm not looking for fame. If you order your advisors to make these letters public, bad people will be in enormous trouble. They will wake up every single day with only one thought. What kind of awful food will their prison guard bring them for dinner? Where did you get that information? The kobold shrugs indifferently. I just went hunting, shot a bird, and it turned out to be a messenger pigeon. What are the odds, eh? Thank you for your help. We've agreed that I would help you, so I kept my word, as any civilized kobold should. Crinukh's speech falters under a bout of heavy coughing. When he's regained his breath, the kobold slumps his shoulders, exhausted, and states with regret, damn it all. Every disease I've ever caught is surfacing now. During my travels, I spent many nights on bare, cold stone. I'm now feeling them all. Crinukh considers you pensively. Trust me, any thought I share with you is not just rambling. It's knowledge paid for with my blood. It's hard won from the caverns of the Darklands where my tribe fled, fearing the wrath of devils. If you wish, I can tell you about that. Will you tell me? Crinukh's voice becomes low and serious. Those were bloody days. We in the Night Ruby tribe were enslaved by the Drow, the elves of the underground. It's ironic. First, we fell victim to the slaves' revenge, and then ourselves fell into slavery. In the first battle with the Drow, we lost Ermac, our stern leader, who refused to bow either before devils or before the Dark Elves. The rest considered it best to submit. Our new life was harsh and filled with suffering, humiliation, and punishment. Before long, we realized that the Drow were tough masters who knew no mercy, but we hadn't gotten used to kneeling yet. Unable to resist using force, we resisted with our cunning. We spied and sabotaged. We killed the cruelest of the masters. We helped the other slaves escape and thus built alliances. If we got caught, our kindred paid with blood. The Drow punished everyone, respecting no difference between the guilty and the innocent. Back in those days, I was a scout and the right hand of our new leader. He was young, careful, and subtle. But our struggle lasted for years, with many of our kin accepting their new fate and resigning themselves to being slaves. Others were tempted by devils who promised to give us back our former power. All they wanted was more signatures on the contract that doomed our souls to hell. As a result, the tribe splintered apart. The traitors gave our leader to the Dark Elves. Then came the Purge. But during that massacre, it was us, the kobolds, who killed most of our kin. I fled, wounded, without any weapons or supplies. All I managed to take with me was a case with that damn contract with the devils. After a long pause, Crinukh gives you a crooked smile. So, that's the end of the story. Not quite the fall of the Aslanti Empire, I admit, but this one is even more dramatic in its own way. Maybe you should move to Drezen. Well, I'm not too enthusiastic about dwelling in densely populated locations. Places like that are usually crawling with those eager to bash in a little kobold's scaly skull. But I finally understand that you have enough important things to do besides constantly running to my camp and back. All right, search for me in Drezen next time, but I have to warn you that I'm not going to stay out in the open. I have never found him in Drezen once having this conversation, so if somebody knows where he is in Drezen, I'd certainly appreciate the notification. I've got suspicions regarding you. Here we go. You come as a friend and they distrust you right away. So what exactly set off your alarm? You implied that there was a traitor in my inner circle, and then it turned out that Nura was one. The kobold waves off your comment nonchalantly. So, there was a spy amidst the top officers of the Crusade? How unexpected! You know what would have been really odd? If the demons didn't send an agent to you. I can also tell you that demons will try to kill you every time they see you, and that they will try to conquer Galarian. Just stating the obvious. Let's not act as if my insight implicates me as Dascaris and Baphomet's personal advisor. I have nothing to say just yet. I have to go. Good luck. I believe you'll need it. What's the other thing you said? Oh, well, that's good. I was starting to worry. I already heard the creaking of a noose in the gallows. It would have been rather sad to be the first kobold in history to be executed undeservingly. I have to go. Good luck. I believe you'll need it. All right. And I believe back this way is the exit. And no, it is not. God dog it. I can never remember where I'm supposed to go. Here we go. All right. Tired to do otherwise. Ah, God dog it, I was just about to stop. All right.
Stand with me.
Oh, sorry. Go. Boom, boom. There we go. Seriously? What's the problem? There's nowhere in this. I was about to say, come on now. Okay, back at it. Let's get to this church. Nope. Still here. Can I recruit more people yet? No, I cannot. Chapel, Temple of the Good Hunt. All right, so I read about this, but I've never done it myself. So let's see if I can actually make this happen. The young cleric of Aristil greets you with a shy smile. What an honor it is to see you again, Commander. Welcome to the Temple of Delamere, the Blessed. As the temple's prior, I offer my greetings. At the word prior, the priest's face flushes pink. Remind me, who are you? They call me Kaido, the shepherd boy. Well, that's what they used to call me, but it's not very fitting for a priest, is it? The cleric lapses into confused silence for a few moments. I come from a village near Lastwall. I've always been drawn to Aristil, even as a child. A cleric by the name of Jahad once passed through our village, a kind old man. He looked me in the eye, a silly little kid, and he said, I see you're going to serve Aristil, just like myself. And so I did. When I heard about your crusade, I set out to join it, just like my heart was telling me to do. Jahad was in Kingmaker, for those who have not played that game. He was a pretty integral part of it. At first I served as a novice under the venerable Rathamus, but now he's gone and I've been left on my own. Rathamus and I marched on Drezen with your forces. We fought in your host. And then when the demons were driven out, I came here. This temple is centuries old. Aristil's worshippers would have come here in their hundreds in the past. But even now, we get the odd pilgrim wandering in. That's why I want to take over this temple. Someone ought to take care of this sacred place. I want to know more about this temple and everything connected to it. Where to begin? This temple is dedicated to Delamere. Oh, I mean, of course it is a temple of Aristil, but Delamere was the prior of this temple. No, I am the prior of this temple, and she is like its blessed mother superior, its patroness. The young man falls into a confused silence and looks pleadingly at you. What is it like to be a prior? Oh, it's terrifying. I live here alone, you see. People travel a great distance to come here, but I have been given an important task. Here in the World Wound, these temples are needed more than ever so that people don't lose their faith. But that doesn't stop my legs shaking in terror. When I think of my teacher, Rathamus, rest his soul, I just feel like running away. I swear I would have run long ago, but one thing keeps me here. Aristil would not have granted me these spells for no reason. I cannot let him down. Or the people, I can't let them down either. You're a pathetic child. You should have stayed home and grown turnips. The crusade is no place for you. Kaido pales and he opens and closes his mouth wordlessly, looking like a fish. At last, the young man meekly hangs his head. You would know best, Commander. I must be truly pathetic. I should have stayed at home and looked after the animals. What should I do now? Tell me about Delamere. She lived in these parts back when Socorus was still standing. She was a priestess of Aristil, and the Kellins deeply respected her for her hard nature and unshakable faith. Aristil blessed her with various wonders, and the common folk knew that she would stand up for them. Delamere did not like city life. She said cities encouraged vile deeds and corruption of the soul. She said that people ought to live in small clans while everyone knows everyone, where everyone is kin, and where every person has a duty to the rest. You can't hide your sins in a village. In a village, everyone knows what kind of person you are. She had a revelation that she would travel around the villages and see how many people lived there. If any settlement had more than 53 souls, she drove out all the rest and told them to settle elsewhere, because otherwise the villages would have grown and turned into little towns. Her methods were harsh, of course, but people still listened to her, because Aristil himself was on her side. She had an edge to her. She single-handedly chased off whole bands of marauders that harassed villagers. And after she died, this temple was built in her honor, in the place where Aristil gifted her with his relics. They say it was here that a white stag emerged from the forest and spoke to her in a human voice, telling her that she should hunt it because it was the will of her lord. Delamere tracked that stag for 3 days and 3 nights through the forest, and when she ran it to ground, she made its antlers into a bow and its hide into armor. And that bow never misses, and Aristil himself blessed that armor so that it repels the strikes of enemies. So she's buried here is what you're saying. It's got to be a crypt or something like that, right? Could there be any valuables lying around in there, do you think? What? Valuables? The young man's voice hardens all of a sudden. There are no valuables in there, and you had better stop thinking what you were thinking just now. A fine hunter with a harsh temper, tough and successful. And better yet, someone who was morally opposed to living in those stinking piles the uplanders call cities. She sounds just like me. No, you're nothing like her. Woljef mutters under his breath. Then maybe you should be buried along with her if you like her so much. What are you mumbling about? Come on, spit it out. I was just saying a little prayer asking Delamere for her help on an important matter. I can't say anymore. It's between me and her blessedness. Delamere the Blessed was wise. Kyoto swells with pride, more than wise, and her temples have been entrusted to me, who was a mere shepherd boy not long ago. They say Delamere looked at the animals herself in her youth, and look at all she accomplished. I want to know more about Aristil's teachings. Aristil is an old god, back from the times when there were no such things as towns. Simple he is, and good, and he wants people to be the same. He wants them to live in small settlements where everyone knows each other. He wants them to value the simple joys of life and not vacuous pondering. He wants people to earn their bread honestly through hunting, crafts, farming, and fishing. He especially prizes hunting, of course, when it is for sustenance rather than sport. He is both stag and hunter. He favors both guises. Aristil does not like finery, and he demands no special ceremonies. He used to simply appear before hunters and rangers and offer his wisdom. But when he is angered, he is terrifying. If someone harms the country folk, takes pleasure in hurting animals, or spoils the crops, the person may well take an arrow from Aristil, and his bow knows no mercy. It is the father of all bows, for it was Aristil who taught people how to shoot. Everything is clear. It was my pleasure to be of service, Commander. Have you seen anything suspicious in the area? The cleric swallows nervously and lowers his gaze. No, everything's quiet around here. There's nothing good going on in this temple, that's for sure. Pilgrims have said there's a dragon flying around this area, snatching up travelers, and others say there's just a rumor. Things are quiet here in my temple. Have you heard about my new powers? Kyoto stares fearfully back at you. Yes, I've heard. It's a dark deed disturbing the dead. Nothing good can come of it. If anybody else had started openly using death magic, I would have immediately accused them of treachery. But it's you, Commander. The young man gives you a trusting smile. I guess dark times are truly upon us. If the best of the Crusaders has had to resort to the most heinous of weapons, but the demons must be defeated somehow, there's one thing I can't understand. People say that Iyamade gave you this gift, but that simply cannot be. She is a goddess, yes, but she has her taboos. Iyamade would never bestow such powers on her priest. Does that mean that some other god has interceded for you and given you this power? I wonder who it could be. I need the services of a cleric. I will be glad to help, Commander. I have kept all of Rathamus' scrolls, and I've even managed to learn a few of his tricks. I studied languages so I can read foreign scrolls. Rathamus used to call me a polyglutton. I never met a foreign language I didn't want to sink my teeth into. The young man seems to preen slightly. Interesting. Oh, this is the same stuff. Yeah, okay. He doesn't get anything different. He gets access to the same list. But we can't go ahead and sell the crap I have, I guess. Ooh. Lynn's Family Chainmail. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Cool, I guess I had never selected that option. Oh, I forgot to give Woljef that. Let me do that. All right. Yeah, so this goes to Woljef. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that goes to Woljef. Oh, no, not her. Someone not wearing armor. Oh, no, but she's got bracers. So I guess it's useless. Yeah, I could sell it later time. I'm gonna hold on to it for now. Okay, close that. Go here.
Huh? What's that?
What's that? this. Okay. And now let's check the other side. Oh, what's this? The young cleric. Oh, it appears there's a carefully concealed doorway in this place. The young cleric lets out a loud scream and addresses you in a quavering voice. I beg you, don't touch that door. I discovered a concealed door in the temple. Where does it lead? Kayato's face grows gray and he falters and stutters over his words. What door? Ah, the door. It leads into the cellar. There's nothing interesting behind that door. Sweat breaks out on the cleric's forehead as he looks at you with pleading eyes. You're a terrible liar. Speak the truth before I lose my temper. Kayato looks to be on the verge of tears. It's all Zandra. She's a witch. She came here one night, threatened to torture me, and demanded that I let her into the crypt. She said that her friends would be coming here sometimes, and then she placed a curse on me. If I allow anyone other than initiated service of Baphomet into the crypt without her permission, a brood of rats will appear in my stomach, and they will gnaw me from the inside out. But I want to live. I'm no warrior. I'm a humble shepherd, and I never said a word to anyone. They go in there and do things. They whisper. I'm afraid to go in, and you can't go in. There's no one in there now anyway. Zandra hasn't been here for many days, and if it's still willing, she won't come again. A cursed witch. Camellia sighs in exasperation. What do you expect from a peasant? It is in a peasant's nature to obey those who are stronger. The little priest has struck up a friendship with our enemies. He betrayed us, hid them in his own temple, and now he's been caught. What should we do with this foolish little bird caught in a snare, master? I know so many wonderful ways of inflicting pain. I scarcely know where to begin. The hunter's gaze grows hungry and predatory, like a wildcat that has spotted a defenseless dove. Pure animal terror is written on Kayato's face. The commander won't let you get your claws on me, evil fiend. He is just and will hand me over to be tried as the law commands. The law? I spit on the law. Did you know that the commander and I are very close? If I ask him to give you to me, do you think he'll refuse me? For the sake of some pathetic loser who's been caught working with the demons? Wenduog's voice is smug and mocking. She looks at you expectantly, her eyes sparkling with amusement. Wink at Wenduog. Interesting. And what would you do to him? The hunter gives you a barely perceptible nod of approval and then eagerly says, I'd kill him slowly. I'd string him up by his hands and feet, high above a bonfire, and I'd throw logs on it that have been steeped in salt water for 5 gongs. If you cover the victim in a large, well-aired fur, it can survive like that for several days, and the meat becomes more and more tender until it just falls off the bone at the slightest touch. A good, interesting way to kill. What about you? How would you do it? He should die the way Zanendra promised he would. Tie a brood of hungry rats to his belly. I tie him to the pillory so that every honest crusader walking past could hurl a stone at him. I'd spell him to look like Queen Galfrey and send him off into the demon's waiting arms. Oh my God. Yes, let's do that. And let the demons have all the fun? No, that's not my style. Why would we give our enemies such a gift? Take him and do what you want with him. No! Commander, I beg you! Don't hand me over to this monster! Wenduog spits on the floor in disgust. There's nothing more revolting than a man sobbing like a child. Even the thought of touching you turns my stomach. Did you hear that, maggot? You're not even worth the time it would take to come up with a good execution for you. I want to go inside the crypt. The cleric's resistance is hanging by a thread. His lips are trembling and his voice drops to a whisper. I have the key, but right do you have to? Either give me the key or I'll knock all your teeth out. Keodo looks like he's about to faint. With a trembling hand, he gives you the key. The final words sound unexpectedly clear and crisp. Don't go in there. Brutal. All right. Bing. Go. What's this? I'm begging you, don't go in there. And your begging falls on deaf ears. The bloody remains of a person lay out in plain view. There are marks on the bones left by gnawing teeth, some of them human. Profane depiction of a bull's head drawn in blood. Glory be to Baphomet, Lord of the Ivory Labyrinth, unbridled consort of Lamashtu, father of the Horned Brood, connive, maul, rut, and build labyrinths of lies in his honor. This is the will of his chosen priestess, Zanedra. An antler of monstrous proportions set in steel. The beast to which it belonged must have been as large as the house. All right, looks like we can manipulate this tomb in some way, but I think this is a good place to end. I hope all of you have enjoyed the play session today. If you did, please go ahead and leave me a like, and I'll see you all in the next video later on this week. Take care.